Thank you, Hayao Miyazaki, for saving our favorite animation's life. After so many years had passed, we missed 2D hand-drawn animation so darn much, and he brought it back to life for this film. That's for sure. Well, anyway, hi ladies and dudes. Let me go ahead and do this camera thing quick. Alright. Whoops. Well, here we go. Hi ladies and dudes. This is Rebecca Lynn Barkley, aka Boobop 1987. This is my review for today. And today, I'm finally gonna do another movie review, ladies and dudes. And plus, today is my 13th anniversary of the day when I have this channel. I can't believe it. 13 long years. It's been a very, very, very long time, don't you think? And yes, I got a movie review for all of you. Is this one. My next movie review is The Boy and the Heron. Yeah, I've been waiting for this movie review for a very, very long time. And also, thanks to Hayao Miyazaki, he saved our favorite animation style's life. 2D hand-drawn animation. And yeah, you know Hayao Miyazaki, he is truly the one true king of all 2D hand-drawn animation. And he knows how to keep our favorite animation alive after so many years had passed, I guess. So we better thank this man for giving us our favorite animation back. Yep. This is the one that brought us back our favorite animation. 2D hand-drawn animation. And he really made this film from the last 7 years ago. Wow, that's a pretty long time. You know, working on this beautiful animation for such a long time. And no, there's no news yet about when the heck he's gonna give somebody else the main torch of who's gonna be responsible for Studio Ghibli, since Studio Ghibli is one of the most popular companies of all time in world history. So anyway, without further ado, ladies and dudes, here's my next movie review. My next movie review of The Boy and the Heron. Yep. Now let's see what the heck I want to say about the main plot of the story. It's a story about a young boy named Marito. It's really hard to pronounce that young man's name. Yeah, Marito, whatever. Yeah, it's a story about him who has to have a brand new life with his new stepmother after when he lost his mother from the fire at the hospital, and he just can't stop thinking about his mother. He really loves her very much, and he has to get along with a new stepmother who's in love with his dad and all that stuff. And yeah, his new life is starting to change forever, where he has to meet that the gray heron creature who's a half man and a half bird. Just a shorty dude who's dressing up as a birdie in a costume. Well, you get the picture. So yeah, he has to go on an adventure to go on to a brand new world that he had never been before, and he has to meet his grand uncle there. Something about building blocks. And yeah, he's going to meet a couple of people here and there, like a really cool pirate lady and a young girl who could create fire, and just these weirdo giant parakeets who are so darn big and they're superly hungry for some unknown reason. So yeah, that's my whole entire plot of The Boy and the Heron. And yeah, the main plot of the story is way too hard to explain. So I guess everybody wants to know is, what the heck do I think about this movie? Well, to tell you the truth is, ladies and dudes, I really did enjoy this film. I gotta tell you the truth right now, I just watched the English dub of the film. I haven't watched the Japanese dub yet. I know the Japanese dub is really, really good. But maybe I'll listen to it, maybe start around later on when the time comes, I guess. Well, you get the story. But anyway, I just enjoyed the English dub since I'm familiar with a couple of actors and actresses who did play the characters pretty darn well. And yes, an interesting fun fact, ladies and dudes, there's a couple of actors that we're all familiar with who did get involved with some other Studio Ghibli films. Like Mr. Green Goblin, aka Will Dafoe. He did play a villain for Tales of Earthsea that came from Miyazaki's son, since he's the one who made that film. Yeah, he did play a villain in the movie. We know Christian Bale. He played Hal from Hal's Moving Castle. And also Mark Hamill, the guy who played our beloved Joker from the animated Batman series. He did play two different characters in a Miyazaki film. One is one of the villagers from Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, and also Muska from Castle in the Sky. So yeah, there are some good, interesting, fun facts you should know about this movie that everybody needs to know right away. So overall, I do enjoy this movie very much. It had a pretty good storyline for the most part. The characters are likable. The 2D hand-drawn animation is so darn breathtaking, and it just blew me away from start to finish. It has really good English dub. I love the English dub very much. It had a pretty good score, and it's just a very good movie from start to finish, even if the third act was way too weird for my taste. So let's go ahead and do my strongest points and the weakest points of The Boy and the Heron. I will say for the strongest point for the movie is really the fun facts you should know about this film. I already told you about a few actors who did work in a few Miyazaki films. But I guess another interesting fun fact you should know about this movie that featured the English dub. Yeah, we got two actors who did play Batman. One from Christopher Nolan, Christian Bale's Batman, and also Robert Pattinson's Batman. Screw the 2002 one. And yeah, we got two actors that we all familiar with who did play our favorite comedy relief villains. Mark Hamill as the animated Joker and Will Dafoe as Mr. Green Goblin. I think I rather prefer the Joker than the Green Goblin. And yes, you got a couple actors and actresses here and there who did work with Christopher Nolan in some previous films, and also some of them did get involved with DC and Marvel. And here's another interesting fun fact you should know about The Boy and the Heron. Remember Hayao Miyazaki and Joe, whatever his last name is that I cannot pronounce pretty good. I cannot pronounce his last name. Those two people had broken the most biggest record in cinema history. These guys know how to work together as a team for working together with so many great 2D hand-drawn animation films. I mean, they broke the most biggest record in all of history. A director and the composer. I mean, it's just mind-blowing to me. You got two great legendary dudes who worked together in all of those films, like Castle in the Sky, Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind, Ponyo, My Name is Totoro, and so many others. I'm surprised that Hayao Miyazaki had never worked with anybody else who will do the score. It's just mind-blowing to me. That's for sure. So I will say for the strongest point for this movie is so many great, interesting, fun facts that you should know about The Boy and the Heron. That's for sure. I will say for my weakest points for the movie is the third act of the movie is kind of a bit too weird for my taste. Well, I do like the third act for some of the parts here and there, but there's some parts here and there that was a bit too weird for my taste. Something, I know that'll be kind of confusing and weird. That's all I could say about that. That's for sure. And now, ladies and dudes, let's go on to the characters. Man, there are so many good characters that are really darn interesting. Hard for me to explain. Let's see. I do like Lei Hibiki or Lei Hibi. Oh, it's so darn hard to pronounce that young woman's name. You know that young girl who created fire? She's a really fun character to watch, and she knows how to handle the fire pretty darn well for a 11 or 12-year-old. I think she's 11 or 12. Yeah, I know there's going to be a crazy plot twist that nobody sees coming about that girl. Something I'm not that surprised of. Yeah, I like that young girl who could create fire. She's a really fun character to watch. I also like that pirate lady played by Florence Pugh. I think I like her better as that pirate lady than that the whore that came from Oppenheimer. So yeah, both Boy and the Heron and Oppenheimer had something in common. They both have the same actress named Florence Pugh. Yeah, I think I like her better playing the pirate than the one from Oppenheimer. I mean, I love the pirate lady so much. She's a really, really fun character to watch. She had a really good storyline, great personality, great attitude. She's a tough cookie. I really like the part where she and that boy had really, really good chemistry for such a short period of time. And she's just a whole lot of fun to watch. Hard for me to say. And yeah, I know it's weird about Robert Pattinson. You know, the guy who played that vampire dude from Twilight, and also the Batman I do not like from the 2022 version of Batman. I will admit, he did a pretty good job playing that Heron character. You know, that weird looking creature who's half man and half bird. He's just the most weirdest character I have ever seen in my whole entire life. Yeah, and his voice is kind of weird, don't you think? You know, he sounds like kind of like a middle-aged dude that came out of nowhere, and he found a way to make his voice kind of weird in so many ways. Yeah, that's very, very strange. Don't you think so, ladies and dudes? But I really love the voice actor who did Marito the best. I think that young man who ever played the main character movie, I think he did a really good job. I think his voice fits so perfectly for the character. And I really do love that young boy's storyline. His storyline was pretty darn understandable, and I understand where he's coming from. You know, missing his mom, trying to get to know his new stepmom, and how the heck he'll make his life easier and better than ever, and all that stuff. So yeah, I really do like that that young boy overall, he's one of my another good character I enjoy in the movie. That's for sure. And now, ladies and dudes, let's go on ahead for my final thoughts of The Boy and the Heron. Overall, The Boy and the Heron is a pretty darn good movie to watch, and I'm surprised that this is one of these movies that did win for Best Animated Feature for both Golden Globe and the Oscars of this year. It had a good storyline for the most part. The characters are likable. It has good 2D hand-drawn animation that will blow you away big time. It had a really good score, good English dub, cast, and we need more 2D hand-drawn animation films to come in the later on future. So I decided to give this film a 9.5 out of 10. And I gotta go because I gotta get going on my job at Taco Bell and do the very best I can to take care of my mom. And so many important stuff here and there. So, and also wish me a happy 13th anniversary of the day when I have this channel. So, that is it for now. I'll see you all later, and sayonara.